With our character model complete, we now have to turn our attention to the last missing piece, which is an environment. The environment for our character is going to provide a tremendous amount of information for our audience to help them understand the size, scale, and proportion, or maybe even just the context of what it is that they're looking at. On the screen here, you can see a wonderful Triceratops sculpture. I made this a while ago. It's one of my favorite sculptures. But without the environment in there, you really don't get a good understanding of the size, scale, the context. Is this a happy dinosaur? Is it mad? Is its current emotional state affecting its environment? All details and questions that can be answered quite directly by the creation of a small little environment. Without it, we don't get a real good understanding of the basic building blocks, if you will, of our character. How big is it? How small is it? In this gray void, if you will, we don't get the high-level understanding of how the environment is helping our audience understand the size, scale, and proportions of what it is that they're looking at. If we were to jump over to a different scene, pardon the dust, here's another great little sculpture that includes an environment. And you can almost immediately understand the total piece now by having that small little diorama, that small little environment that supports the character inside the scene itself. We now have a great understanding of the size of this by the shadows and how they're being laid over on the ground. The details of the environment itself are supporting the size of this wonderful sculpture. In this one, this is a great piece. This comes from one of my favorite childhood books, and the author and the illustrator created these wonderful machines for animals. And each animal has a machine that allows them to do something that they normally would not be able to do. And of course, an octopus in this machine is able to explore the beach right next to the ocean. We have a great sense of the character's purpose now because we've placed it in its environment. Outside of that environment, if we were to just look at the octopus and its machine, we'd be really confused as to what it is that we're looking at. But now we really have that last missing component, that last missing piece that makes us go, yep, okay, I understand. I believe the story now. I believe the purpose of this character because of the environment in which it lives. Small little details like this little tree log down here at the bottom or this group of rocks on the back will help our audience start to believe the reality of this character because they're bringing their own experiences with a tree log and some rocks with them. We're giving them something that they can hook onto. We're providing them with an experience that they've already likely have had. We're bombarding them with some really weird, wacky imagery. Who's seen an octopus drive a machine on a beach? That's right, nobody. But our audience has seen sand and grass, trees and rocks. These small little details will help our audience understand what they're seeing and allow them to believe much more directly. It's a powerful way to provide that last little missing component that truly makes our audience buy in and believe in what they're seeing. It provides size, scale, contextualized information that draws purpose to our character and gives a small little narrative and hopefully a story in the sculptures that we've been creating. Now, we have to be strategic with these environments. We just can't make whatever we want. They need to support the character. We don't want it to detract from the overall piece. If you look really carefully at the scene that I've created, it's pretty simple. It really is nothing more than just a flattened sphere on one side that I've sculpted just a little bit to make it look like our character is coming up over a sand dune. But it's very basic. I'm not trying to give our audience something really weird and wild and wacky that's as attention-grabbing as the character itself. I want them to complement each other, not detract from each other. Our research is really going to be the leader in this decision-making process, and we'll take a look at some ideas about how the research can support the creation of our environment here in a minute. But we want to make sure that the focal point is still centered on the object itself, on the character, and the environment is not taking away from that wonderful narrative and story that we've created in the sculpture itself. So our environments play a big role in helping our audience understand the context of our character. And this role is something that we're going to continue to explore over the rest of this module.